Hi, Brian here from ClassA English, and tonight we're going to look at another video of phrasal verbs. Many students find phrasal verbs confusing. You change the word and it completely changes the meaning. It can be difficult, but in English you find phrasal verbs everywhere. In conversation, in music, in films, in emails, they're all over the place. So today we're going to look at the word over. I think it's 10 different phrasal verbs, and we're going to look at different meanings, and hopefully it will help you. Okay, let's get started. So, here we go. Oh, this is good. All right. Okay, great. Let's jump into it. All right, so we're going to look at phrasal verbs with over. Now, here we have 10 different phrasal verbs on the right. Start to feel happy or well again after something bad has happened. To take control of something. To consider, to think about a problem or decision carefully. To give something to someone. To begin again. To check something carefully. To visit someone in their house, in their home. To do something again from the beginning, to end or to finish, and finally to sleep at someone's house for a night. So what we have here is we have some sentences on the left. Let's have a look. Now, you might want to pause the video at this point so you can check it yourself. I'll give you a few seconds. Pause it, have a look, and then we'll go through the answers. I'll do a little dance. Okay, here we go. So let's have a look at the answers. While everyone else left, I stayed over to keep my mother company. Okay? What do you think is the answer for this? So, while everyone else went, I stayed over. That's right. It is number 10. I stayed at my mother's house for the night. Maybe something happened. Maybe she was upset. Maybe it was a party. I don't know. B for Belfast. She cancelled her plans and came over straight away with chocolate ice cream to cheer me up. Oh, wow, fantastic. She came over. That would be, what do you think? It is, let me have a look. Number 7, yeah? She cancelled her plans and came over straight away, immediately, with chocolate ice cream to cheer me up. Maybe I'm sad. Maybe I've had a bad day, okay? To cheer me up. What would cheer me up? Definitely chocolate ice cream. We can call this comfort food. Comfort food. If I'm not happy, maybe I eat something that, makes me happy. What's your comfort food? Man, I have a few. I've got like pizza as a comfort food, definitely. I really like, I don't know, it might sound strange, but I like mashed potatoes. It's an Irish thing, right? Okay, C. If I had the chance to do it over, I would have hired a website design expert to help me build my website, my site. Okay, if I had the chance to do it over, what could be the answer for this one? If I had the chance to do something from the beginning, So maybe I made a website, but I'm not an expert. I made some errors, I made some mistakes, and if I could do it over, it's a regret, isn't it? It's a regret. I wish I had hired a website design expert. I wish I'd hired a professional to make my website. Yeah, to do something again from the beginning. Okay, D is for, I don't know, Dundalk. Big shout out to Dundalk. Sometimes I dream of quitting my job and leaving this town to start over in another place in the world. Ooh, I think we all have this sometimes, don't we? We would all like to jump on an airplane and, just start over. So what could be the definition of this phrasal verb? Any ideas? Number, that's right, the fifth one. The first, second, third, fourth, fifth answer, number 5, to begin again. I'd like to just jump on an aeroplane, move to Jamaica, and start over. Okay, E. E has to be for my town, Ennis. Google's strategy is to take over smaller, promising companies and continue developing their products under the Google's logo. Well, we know this. Maybe you're going to be watching this on YouTube. YouTube was a channel. Google bought them, and they took it over. They took over the company. I am still waiting for Google to make me an offer. If Google, but don't worry everyone, if Google come and phone me up and they say, Brian, we want to buy ClassA Plus English, I'll say, no Google, this is an independent YouTube channel. I don't know how independent that can be, but you know what I mean, right? To take over a company. Yeah, one company buys another company. Now we have different types of takeover. You have a hostile takeover, and you have a friendly takeover. A hostile takeover is when the company being bought doesn't want to be bought. And a friendly takeover is when the smaller company, usually it's smaller, right? They're like, yeah, give me $1 trillion and you can buy the company. Hostile takeover, a friendly takeover, and of course when two companies join together, it's a merger. All right, so that's Google's strategy. They buy everything, don't they? It's all the big tech companies, yeah. They just buy smaller, websites or apps or whatever like that. So let's have a look here. E for Ennis, and that is to take over is number 2. To take control of something. So I've got something in my eye here. That's why I keep at it. Okay, let's have a look. F for fecal. Fecal. Fecal is a town in Clare, where I come from. Fecal. And fecal matters, everyone. Okay, the two boys scared the old man into handing over his wallet. To hand over. I don't have a pen. I have a pen. Give me the wallet, old man. Yeah, so they're robbing him. Yeah, they're mugging him, to mug the old man. Then they scared him into handing over his wallet. Let's look at the definition. It is what is it? Give something to someone, to hand it over. To hand something over is to give it to them. Okay, G for Galway. I went over the report at least 3 times looking for errors, but I found nothing. Okay, to go over something, to go over a report. As a teacher, I go over an essay. My student sends me an essay that they wrote for one of the exams, Cambridge, IELTS, TOEFL, and I go over it. I went over the report at least 3 times looking for errors, but found nothing. And that would be, G is for number 6, to check something carefully. Sometimes my students, I don't know, they're putting their CV, their curriculum vitae, their resume in English, and they might ask me, can you go over it for mistakes, for errors? And I say, of course I will. All right. H is for H. Hospital. I think hospital is in Limerick, right? Howth in Dublin. Howth. He was really surprised by the proposal they offered and asked them to give him a few days to seriously think it over. He was really surprised. This is Google now when they call me and they want to buy ClassA Plus. He was really surprised by the proposal they offered, a zillion, trillion, dillion euros, and asked them to give him a few days to think it over. Now, what could that mean, do you think? To think something over is to 3. Consider a problem or decision carefully. It's an expression we often have. Somebody makes me an offer, and I say, can I sleep on it? Can I sleep on it? I don't want to give you the answer right now. I want to go away. I want to have a sleep. I want to think about it. I want to digest the idea. I want to think it over. And then tomorrow or next week, I'll give you the answer. Okay? I is for Aina. I'll be glad when the competition is over and I can go home. When something is over, when it ends or finishes. Yeah? I'll be glad when these exams are over. I'm exhausted. It took me a very long time to get over the shock of her death. All right, so I'm not going to make any jokes here. To get over the shock of her death. So imagine somebody dies. You're really upset. It takes time. It takes time to recover, I suppose you would say, to recover from that, yeah? So that is going to be number 1, the first one. Start to feel happy or well again after something bad has happened. So, maybe somebody dies, somebody has died. It takes time to get over it. Maybe you break up with your girlfriend, you break up with a boyfriend, you feel very sad. It can take time to get over it. But also we can talk about illness, yeah? You feel ill for a few days, you have a flu or you have a bad cold. It will take a few days to get over it, to recover. All right, great. Now, in phrasal verbs, over can add a certain type of meaning. Match the phrasal verbs with the general meanings that over brings them. So what do we have here? We have transferring, moving from A to B, thinking, or examining carefully, to do something again, visiting or going to somebody's home, and finally finished. Let's have a look. Stay over. As a celebrity, as a YouTube celebrity, I'm often, I might be in Beverly Hills, I might be in Hollywood or something, and, I know a lot of famous people. For example, the last time I was in Hollywood, I was talking to Colin Farrell, a good friend of mine, and he said, Brian, come and stay over at my house. That's right. He said, come visit me. Yeah? Now, to come and stay over and come over are exactly the same meaning. To stay over usually means to sleep. Yeah, I'm going to stay over for the night. Okay, let's look at C. Do over. To do something over. My student gives me an essay. There's some mistakes. I say, can you do it over again? There you go, again. And maybe we start a project. Imagine we start a project, it's not going very well, we've made some errors, maybe we don't know how to do it. We should start over again, to begin, to redo something. Okay, let's look at E for Ennis. Take over. To take over something is to transfer, to take over the company. Imagine I'm driving the car, we're driving to Los Angeles, and I've been driving for 12 hours. I say, I'm really tired. Can you take over? Can you drive for a while? Hand over, again, is the same. To hand something over. To hand over power. G is to go over, is to go over the essay, to go over the document. If you are signing a contract, you should really go over it carefully. You should examine it carefully. And again, like I said, can I sleep on it, Mr. Google? Can I sleep on it before I make a decision? It would be thinking or examining carefully. Now, and the last one, they're done. It's over. The match is over. And sometimes we have to get over something. We have to recover from it, yeah, to get over it. To get over it. Don't worry. All right, so you can see there's different meanings, yeah, for these phrasal verbs that we have. But look, what do they mean? They mean transferring, or thinking about something very carefully, or doing something again, going somewhere, going to visit someone, or something is finished. Okay, look what we have here now. We're going to put this into practice. We have some verbs. Be, do, get, go, start, stay, take, think. So again, pause the video, have a look, have a think, and then press play. And if you're going to press play, don't forget to press like. And if you haven't already, press subscribe because there's going to be a lot more of these videos uploaded, okay? All right, let's get the party started. How often? Now, how often? How often? Sometimes students say to me, what's the difference? There is no difference. You can say how often. You can say how often. Doesn't matter, yeah? Personally, I say how often. How often do you have to over complex problems at work? How often do you have to? Anybody? I was going to say go over, think over. To think something over, think over a problem. Do you remember the last time you over at your friend's house? Why did you do that? Okay. Do you remember the last time you stayed over? To stay over at my friend's house. What would happen if your competition, right, this is Google, over the company you work for? Would you change your job? What would happen if the competition, your ops, right? What would happen if the ops took over the company to be bought out by the competition? Yeah, they take you over. And D, if you could your career over, what would you like to do? If you could start over, to begin from the beginning, what would you like to do? Okay, we've got be, do, get, go. What's the best advice for someone who's trying to... A breakup. A breakup is when relationship, boy, girl, whatever, break up, yeah? To break up, to split up would be another phrase, yeah? What's the best advice for someone who's trying to get over, to recover, sad? I'm so sad, I've broken up with my girlfriend. All right. There is one thing you could, now, be, do, go, over in your life. What would that be? And what would you do differently? So, if there was one thing you could do over, to repeat, to start from the beginning and do again, what would that be? Many, many things for me. What are you going to do when the lesson... Now remember, subject verb agreement, I am, you are, it. The lesson is it. What are you going to do when the lesson is over? I'm going to go and play tennis. And do you always go over the terms and conditions online when you register an account on a website? Why or why not? Well, let's have a look. How often do you have to think over complex problems at work? I think on a daily basis. On a daily basis, every day. There's an idiomatic expression for you. I use public transport every day. But hey, if you're doing any exams, for example, if you're doing a Cambridge exam or IELTS or TOEFL, you need to use more sophisticated language. And here's an idiom. How often do you have to think over complex problems? I have to think over problems on a daily basis. On a daily basis, meaning every day. I go to the gym on a weekly basis. That's not true. I don't actually. I prefer running. But anyway, I go to the cinema on a weekly basis, once a week. Maybe at work we have a team meeting. Oh, we have a team meeting on a monthly basis, once a month. And maybe I go on holiday on a yearly basis. Really nice idiomatic expression to replace adverbs of frequency, you know? Instead of saying I do something every day, I do it on a daily basis. I speak to my boss on a daily basis. I go shopping on a weekly basis. I go to the cinema on a monthly basis. And I don't know, what can we say? I go on holiday on a yearly basis, something like that. Do you remember the last time you stayed over at your friend's house? Why did you do that? Well, like I said, I'm a celebrity. I'm a YouTube celebrity, and often I'm in Los Angeles. And I think the last time I stayed over at a friend's house was Colin Farrell. Why? I was completely drunk. And I said, Colin Farrell, my old buddy, can I stay over? And he said, of course you can, Brian. Of course you can. What would happen if your competition took over the company you work for? Would you change your job? No, probably not. Yeah, probably not. If you could start your career over, if you could go back in time, start your career over, what would you like to do? Interesting question. I think I would have, or if I could go back in time, conditional. If I could go back in time, I would be a street poet. Yeah, I think I'd be a street poet. All right. What's the best advice for someone who is trying to get over a breakup? Leave comments in the chat, everybody. If you've got any better ideas than me, leave some comments and I'll take a look and I will say which one I think is the best. What's the best advice for someone who is trying to get over a breakup? I would suggest chocolate cake. If there was one thing you could do if there was one thing you could do over in your life, what would it be and why would you do it differently? And what would you do differently? Ooh, well, that's one for you, everybody. If you could change something, what would you do and how would you do it differently? What are you going to do when the lesson is over? I'm going to play video games. Do you always go over terms and conditions online when you register an account on a website? Why or why not? I have to admit, no, I don't. No, I don't do it at all. I'm really, really bad. And that's pretty much all I can say. So there you go. Thank you for watching. I'll see you soon. I'm going to be posting more of these videos and I hope they're helpful. If you want to answer any of the questions, leave it in comments. I'll get back to you. Thanks for watching. Take care. See you soon. And I will finish there. Good night. Bye-bye.